I have been a subscriber to the dead internet theory for years. What is the dead internet theory? The dead internet theory is the idea that the majority of online traffic is not from real people making accounts and posting organically, but rather from mass amounts of bots being controlled by corporations or individuals in order to make it seem like there's more real people on the site than there actually is. Obviously, the internet is dead if that's true because most of the people on there don't exist. And I think this is especially true with Twitter and social media. When Elon was going to buy Twitter, he actually tried to back out of the deal because he realized, oh crap, I'm buying a website that is mostly bots. There was so many bots on Twitter that Elon didn't want to buy it anymore because he realized that it wasn't worth the price. But then he was forced to go through with the acquisition anyway. It was like a whole thing. I'm not going to go into it. But now that he's the owner of Twitter, he's been working to purge a lot of these bots and grow them organically. So now there's a hell of a lot less bots on Twitter than there used to be. But the theory remains mostly true. Now we have news starting to come out of something else that's similar that I also suspected that these companies had been doing for years, but had never really had any concrete evidence to prove it. That was until a little while ago. A few months ago in November, when it was exposed that some executives at HBO had been basically creating bot accounts to clap back at people criticizing HBO or to artificially inflate stuff that they wanted to push to make it seem like it had more public support than it did. It says here from Fox Business, employees plan to use fake social media accounts, including those he encouraged employees to make, was revealed in one 2022 exchange highlighted in the wrongful termination lawsuit reported by Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone reported that there were at least 6 times between June 2020 and April 2021 when the Blois and McCaffrey talked about using a secret army of fake social media accounts responding to HBO's critics. So, what they did, right, is it created a bunch of bot accounts to go and attack people who criticized them in order to make them look like idiots or make it look like the public was behind HBO. And now we're seeing that more pronounced with this article from thatparkplace.com. The Walt Disney Company is being accused of using bots to boost its public image and business success by getting certain topics to trend in order to falsely influence the wider public. This is a textbook tactic of the woke mob, and Disney, of course, being the biggest and wokest corporation in the world, is employing this. Now, I covered this in my last video about the drunk 3PO situation where he went to that Gina Carano protest. But we have a small minority of individuals who use these bot accounts in order to make it look like there's massive support behind things. And that's been done by individuals pushing for, social justice crap, and also by big corporations trying to make it seem like the public is massively in support of this new thing they're making, or they're standing up against some bigotry from the toxic fans. Classic manipulation to make it look like there's massive support or massive hatred coming towards Disney for whatever ends they might have. Ex user Master the TDS, who hosts the YouTube channel Gothic Therapy, made the accusation after an examination of a Twitter thread promoting the increase in Disney stock made earlier this month. Master the TDS shared the post from MZoop98874 that reads, "Corporate profits are still the top concern of investors. Disney shares rose 11.5% after the company reported profits that exceeded analysts' expectations and raised its upcoming revenue forecast. Shares of chipmaker and designer ARM jumped 47.9% thanks to higher than expected profits and an optimistic business outlook. However, the 10-year Treasury bond yield increased 4.6% at the end of February 8th. The development puts pressure on the stock market despite a series of positive business results reports showing that the U.S. economy maintains its strength." He then shared numerous replies to the post that includes at least over 200 paid blue check accounts that are all saying the same things in different variations of the wording. Next, he stated, quote, "Why am I pointing this out? Let's be fair here. The only thing we're seeing is bots. 1.5 million views with 380 likes is such a terrible ratio, but that alone doesn't account for all these paid accounts responding." He then asserts, "What's happening here? To put it simply, they are all bots responding to this post to boost engagement, and ads are being run on this post to drive income." Anyone who has any real knowledge of internet advertising or like runs a website where you get ads will know about this kind of stuff. They'll know about how to spot these bot accounts and how people use these bot accounts to make them look more popular than they were. One example I remember hearing about was there was this one website who had one of their writers buy a bunch of engagement for every article they put up. So they would upload an article and they like immediately get 1,000 views, ton of likes, and all of that, so that it would increase the ad revenue going to their articles, which would make them seem more successful. But it was all botted. And eventually it got so bad that it basically was getting the website in trouble with these ad agencies who realized that they were being scammed by this guy. And so the website had to let him go. Now, think about it, right? If a journalist working for a digital media outlet can pull stuff like that, Disney, with its almost limitless amount of money, or Warner Brothers or HBO, like we mentioned, these megacorps with tons of disposable income, they can almost certainly do this on a much bigger scale. And keep in mind, all of these bot accounts had blue checks, like they were paid accounts, right? So the blue check that's supposed to mean like you're verified as a human doesn't really go through. This accusation comes shortly after the Walt Disney Company was accused of rigging the People's Choice Awards with bot accounts to ensure that Rachel Zegler won the Best Action Movie Star of the Year award. Yeah, I'm willing to believe that was botted, because who the fuck likes Rachel Zegler? Who thinks she's worth anything? I mean, seriously, are there any actually unironic Rachel Zegler fans out there? No. Analyst and YouTuber Valiant Renegade questioned Zegler's win by saying, "Let's not forget that Hollywood studios engage in heavy social manipulation. They all do. We've talked about this many times. All of these Hollywood studios hire very expensive PR and advertising marketing firms. Their job is basically raise the social media specter of whatever these studios need them to do, and Disney seems to be one of the most prolific users of this system." I definitely believe that because, first off, Rachel Zegler winning an action movie award, that's double layers of unbelievability right there. But this is why I say that all of this social media outrage is overblown, because most of it is not real people. It does not represent the general public. It does not represent the majority of people. And so if you get a bunch of hate from these accounts, chances are most of them aren't even real. But second off, even the ones who are actually real people, they are such a small minority, and many of them would have never even purchased whatever thing it is they're mad at you about in the first place. All the feminists mad about Tifa being attractive in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, chances are the vast majority, if not all of them, were never even going to buy Rebirth in the first place. So why listen to them? Why care about what people who aren't your customers are saying? Why change things to benefit them at the expense of the people who are actually going to give you money? It doesn't make any sense. It's just bad for business. And if you remember the video about the Jada Carano protest, when it comes down to it, when these people are actually asked to stand by what they believe in, you'll get 5 people. There's no reason why you should take this stuff seriously. And this is why you have to remember it's so important for you to question these things, for you to look at what's going on, and for you to go, is this genuine? Is this a really grassroots? Do the people claiming this stuff actually believe it? Are they actually willing to support it? Or are they just bots or people who are just virtue signaling for attention and are never actually going to commit to anything? People are already waking up to this stuff. They have been for the past few years. But I feel like this spotting stuff is not talked about enough. most of the support that exists for these things is fake. I think this is the end of this video. Let me know what you thought. Did you know about this spotting stuff? Were you aware of it for the last couple of years like I was, or is this something new to you? What do you think about it?